It's time for Let's Talk with Tara. Tara is a counseling coach who addresses real issues that plague many women today. Issues like church hurt, disappointment, anxiety, depression, and many more. You will be inspired, educated, and empowered on how to receive the help and healing needed to move forward. If you have real issues, then Tara has real solutions. Let's talk with Tara.
Hello. Today it is time for Let's Talk with Tara. It is Monday, midday, and I am excited to be on with you guys. This is my midday Monday podcast. So if you are listening from the podcast or you can catch it on all Apple, Google, Spreaker, iHeartRadio, and a host more of iPads, Amazon. So let's get right into it. It is Monday, midday Monday, and I am Tara T. Stallings. I am a counselor, life coach. Let's get into it. Today, our topic is, are you willing to pay the cost for your success? Now, so often when we hear the word success, we equivalate that word into business, entrepreneurship, and sometimes, mainly business. We use it in the business sector, and we're going to talk about that a little bit. This is going to be a part one. But when we talk about, are you willing to pay the cost for your success? That could be in your personal relationships, friendships, intimate relationships. That could be in your spiritual walk, your spirituality. That could be in your health. That could be in your finances. That also could be in your business, your purpose. It could be with yourself, your goals, your achievements. So when you hear the word success, don't limit that to business or career or lifestyle, because there's a cost for success in every area. And let me share what I'm talking about and what I mean when I say that, because so often you can see people or have seen people that career-wise, they are successful. They have what the picture of success, but when it relates to their relationships or their health, they're not so successful. So my question to you today, are you willing to pay the cost for your success? And we're going to go through two parts of that today. Like I said, that could be in your relationships. That's your intimate relationships, your friendships. That could be career. That could be your spiritual relationship with God, and your health. Or it could just be business. It could be business. So are you willing to pay the cost? Now, and the reason I want to share this, because so many people, especially that I see now, are on this pathway. I want to be successful. I want to be rich. I want to be successful. I want to be famous and all of this great stuff. And people don't really understand. Well, when we talk about success and we talk about fame, those are two separate things. So I'm not getting that right now. But when we talk about success, what most people don't grasp is that there is a cost for success. Before you can pay the cost for success, you have to define what success looks like for you. Let me say that again. You have to define what success looks like for you. And when I say when you have to define what the success looks like for you, you can't compare your success with what someone else's success looks like. You cannot do that. You cannot compare your success with people that are what we society call as famous because they're in the spotlight, and they have, a couple of $1 million, because you have people that are millionaires, multimillionaires, that you don't know their name, and they are successful because we see them on television or in the spotlight. We deem them as superstars, or they're successful, and a lot of times we want to connect with those people, or we want to be on television, or we want to be popular in the area that we're in. And people gravitate to you, or they put you in a category that, oh, they are successful, when you really may not be successful. You just may be well known or popular, and you may not be successful. From the definition of success for you, for your life, what success looks like to you, not to someone else. And I'm sharing this information because on my journey, and remember, everything that I talk about, I have mastered it. I've mastered it, or I'm in the midst of mastering it, because I've gone through this. For years, I had to reevaluate what success was to me. Well, for me, success was, one, finding who I am and my purpose. Who I am and my purpose. Okay, finding who I am and my purpose. And then understanding within my purpose, there is a vision that I have for my life, and making sure that my vision for my life reflects the vision that was already created for my life. Let me say it that way. The vision that I have for my life reflects the vision that was already created for my life. Let me just stop right here, because I don't want to go too fast, and I want you to really grasp it. Whether you believe in God the Father through Jesus Christ, or you believe in somebody else, you still have a vision for your life that was created. You still have a vision that was created for your life, a pathway that was already written out, perfected for your life, whether you walk it out or not. Sometimes, and I said this before, and I want to go back, and I think I need to say this now, especially because I'm a believer in God the Father, the real, the living God. I'm a believer in Jesus Christ. I'm a believer. I'm a kingdom citizen. I believe in him. I don't believe in, church system. I believe in the living God through Jesus Christ. So with that being said, I know that he has a path for me already created. Now, what we so often have had the misunderstanding of is, there is a perfect will for your life. That's the path that God has created for you before you were born. And then there is a permissive will for your life. And so often people get caught up in the permissive will, saying it's God's perfect will. The permissive will of God, saying it's God's perfect will. Because there's his perfect will, the plan that he had for you. And then there is the permissive will. God is not going to stop you. Let me say, he's not going to stop you, he's not going to stop you from doing what you want to do. He's not going to stop you. He'll blow the horn, he'll say, hey, give you some warnings, but he's not going to stop you. He is not going to stop you unless it's just divine intervention. He is not going to stop you. So often we believe, just because things happen one way, this is the plan that God had for my life or for your life. That is so far from the truth. That is so far from the truth. Just because your life is a certain way, it doesn't mean that that's the plan that God had for your life. That may be the decisions that you made and the consequences for your decisions. And that's where it is. It doesn't mean that that was the plan that God had for you, because you have a permissive will. And I could hear people saying, well, I don't believe that. Well, let me prove my point. Let me tell you things that God is not going to do. He's not going to get up in the morning and brush your teeth and comb your hair and tell you to go to work. He's not going to drive your car for you. He is not going to pay your bills. Those are your decisions. See, those are things when you get ready to go on vacation, God doesn't say, oh, Sandra, Johnny, Sally, I want you to go this place, this place, this place, is that time. He doesn't tell you that. When you go spend unnecessary money, he doesn't stop you from doing it. So that's his, that he may allow you to have the funds for it, but it doesn't mean that that's in his will. And we'll say, oh, this is a blessing. Well, is it? Or was it just, you just had the money to go get it? Or it was just your decision? So we have to understand that when we're talking about success, because there's his perfect will and then there is his permissive will. He is not, I've heard this, and I don't know, it's kind of not on my notes, but I'm here where I am now. So people say, well, if God doesn't do it, it's not going to be done. That's not true. No, the earth is the Lord's and the fullness thereof, but he has given us power and dominion over the earth. So we have whatever we do and say or don't do or say impacts what goes on in the earth, where he's giving it to us, mankind. And every mankind that says, I believe in God, doesn't believe in the living God. They believe in other gods, other powers that control what's going on and can control stuff, but I'm going to get too far in it. So we can't always say that. We can't say, oh, this is God's will for my life. Just because you made that decision doesn't mean that. So as it relates to success, we have to kind of go back to realizing, hey, just because something happens, it doesn't mean that, hey, that was God. It doesn't mean that. Are you willing to pay? Now, I don't know why I got that far off, but I guess somebody needed to hear that. So, because that's where I am, I wanted to get that clear. When we talk about success, I hear so, God made this, I'm here because this is the plan that God made for your life. He came that you may have life. Now, if you serving the God for real, Yeshua, Jesus, that God, the living God. He came that you may have life and that you may have it in abundantly. That's what he came for. He didn't come for you to be sick. He didn't come for you to die before your time. That's not what he came for. The enemy came to steal, kill, and destroy. And I think we forget that. So when things that happen to us or when we end stuff, it's not always God. That was God's will. Sometimes it was your bad decision, or your lack of planning, or your lack of praying. Let me just say that. I didn't come on here today to preach, but I need to say that. Or your lack of praying and interceding for some things that were negatively planned or prayed for your life. So when we're talking about, are you willing to pay the cost for success? Are you willing to pay that cost for your success? You have to reevaluate what success looks like. And is the success, whatever success you have for your life, is it related to the perfect plan for your life or the permissive plan for your life? Because now you can have a permissive plan and it still be good, but it may not be the perfect plan. You may miss out on a lot of things in the perfect plan because you're focused on the permissive plan. And that permissive plan comes with, it's kind of rooted in what you want to do or your perception of it, of what the vision that God has for you or the vision that you have for your life, when it may not be the vision that was perfected for you and purpose for you. Because you have so many people that live great lives. They live great lives, but they don't live a life of success. They live a life of regrets. And when they get to their older age, or you hear them and say, oh, I've always wanted to do this, and I always wanted to do that. And I've always wanted to do that, but it just never happened for me. And then they use the excuse, I guess that's not what God had for me. Not true. Not true. It could be you were not willing to pay the cost for that success and your purpose and your perfect plan, the perfect will for your life, because there's a cost for it. And if we remember, and I'm going to use the words of Yeshua, Jesus, he said that there's a cost. To follow him, there's a cost. Not to follow church, but to follow him, or you have to be able to willing to pay the cost. So when we relate that to life, are you willing to pay the cost for your success? Because it's going to cost you something. The first thing that it's going to cost you, it's going to cost you sacrifice. You're going to have to sacrifice. Be willing to sacrifice your time, your money, education, to be educated, your family. You may have to sacrifice your friends. You may have to sacrifice some of that television time. You may have to sacrifice, you're going to have to sacrifice things in your life, people in your life, monies in your life, if you're going to be successful. There's a cost. There's a emotional cost. There's a financial cost. There's a psychological cost. There is a relational cost that success embodies. If you're going to be successful, there's a cost for it. You're going to be persecuted. Now, we hear that word and we sound all churchy, but wait a minute, let me just bring it on home. Let me bring it so that you can understand it in today's terms. You're going to have those people that's going to talk about you. Oh, you acting funny. You don't have time now. You got there. You used to be here. Now you don't have time for me anymore. You too busy, or you got a new set of friends or whatever. So that's what I mean. The persecutor. You're going to have people that's going to lie on you. You're going to have people that don't want to associate with you. You're going to have people that just won't like you for who you are, for what you stand for. That comes with it. Are you willing to pay that cost? Are you willing to pay the cost? Because there's a cost for success. Now, again, I'm going to reiterate. You have to reevaluate your life so that you know what success looks like for you. That's built in your purpose and the vision that was predestined for your life. If you're going to be in the perfect will, not the permissive will. And then that brings me to submission. We hear that word submission and we always relate it to a husband and a wife. Okay, but submission is to allow something or someone to have control of you. So as we're talking about the perfect will and the permissive will, I would hope that one, you are submitted to, if you're a believer, because I know everyone that listens to my podcast or Facebook or however, what platform you listen to, they're not all believers. Some people they're just not, and it's okay. But if you are a believer in Jesus, Yeshua, Yah, God the Father, that God, the living God, submission has to be in the perfect will. Let me say that, to be in the perfect will, because you can be a believer and be in the permissive will. Okay, you can still be a believer and be in the permissive will, and you can be a believer and be in the perfect will. So you need to be submitted. If you're trying to have the perfect will for your life, the perfect will for success, you need to be submitted to God, the Father and his purpose. And your purpose should line up with his purpose. Now, let me say this, because when I say people, a lot of times in the past, when you start talking about being a believer, when you start talking about purpose, the first thing people think, oh, you got to go be a pastor, or and nowadays everybody want to be an apostle. And I made that face for a reason. Everybody want a title. Everybody want to be a prophet or a prophetess or something. Everybody need a title. And what's the song that I love to sing? Lord, I don't want to know your name and you don't know mine. So everybody's reaching out here for a title and under the name of Lord Jesus God, and he might not even know your name. That's another whole subject. But you have to be submitted to him first, his vision for your life, his vision, and then your vision should line up with the vision that God has already planned for your life. That doesn't mean you have to run out and be a pastor. That doesn't mean you have to be a minister. Because the Bible said if you believe God, you're a minister anyway. You're a minister of the word. You don't need a title. You don't need you don't have to have all of that to live out your purpose for God. You don't have to do that. And then you could be in more than one arena. You could be in more than one arena. I'm going to say that as it relates to God, you don't need to worry about having a title. You better make sure he know your name. Don't worry about a title. Make sure he knows your name. Okay. So you want to be submitted to him, because my time is running out. This is going to be 2 parts, maybe 3 parts. And with submission, you want to be focused, your vision, your path, your purpose. Okay, if you got all of that together, because some of you said, well, hey, I'm there. Okay, so the next thing is to stay focused on that vision, because you have to understand. And like I said, I mastered this thing, and I have to still keep reevaluating so I can stay on my path, not to get off the path that God, that's for your success and your perfect the perfect will. You want to make sure you stay in line with that. You're going to have people that are doing great things. They're doing great things and they're connected with great people, but it may not be the people that you're supposed to be connected to. And those people may be successful, they may be popular, they may be rich, they may be able to seemingly connect you with some high dollar people. They may be great, but it may not be the perfect will. May not be the perfect will for your success. So you have to be willing to say, hey, do I need to connect with these people because it sounds good or because somebody else connected with them? Do I need to connect with them? And see, that's a hard choice, because if you're trying to, you know your vision and you're trying to go and grow places, and you have people that you can connect to that you think, hey, they can get me in this door or get me a seat at that table or get me here. It's real easy to connect with them. But the danger of connecting with people that are not on your path of success, you go from the perfect will to the permissive will, and you take the way, you're gonna miss, and not taking a chance. You are going to miss the time and the season that was already planned out for you, for your perfect will to get beyond the success that those people that you connect to could bring you. Or you miss success altogether because you get thrown off on a whole nother path, and you miss and get all out of alignment. So are you willing to pay the cost? Sometimes everything that's good for you that's good to you is not good for you. Everything that's good to you is not good. Every connection is not going to be the connection that you need to connect with. And that can be a very hard decision. As it relates, now I talk about business, but as it relates to relationships, the same thing. Every relationship that you come in contact with, that come to you, is not for you to be an intimate relationship. Every relationship is not supposed to be a friendship. Everything is not. Everything has a reason, a season, or a lifetime. So you have to be able to understand, discern, ask questions, pray about, why is this person in my life? What type of relationship are we supposed to have? What type of relationships are we supposed to have? Because see, we get those lines blurred because, one, we get lonely, we have our own, our flesh, and we want stuff, and I'm going to share this with you guys. I have not been desiring a husband. I have not. I have not been desiring a husband, and recently that has kind of changed because of some things in my life, but I'm still staying focused. I'm not going to lower my vision because what other people are doing or or their expectations for me. Let me say it that way. As it relates to relationships, my time is running out. Oh my gosh. As it relates to relationships, intimate relationships is what I'm talking about. Intimate relationships. You have to be careful that you don't get so focused on your permissive, what you want, that you overlook your values, your statutes, and the perfect will for your life. Even if you're not a believer, you have to look. And it's going to be hard to do that if you're not a believer. It really is. But you have to. But we have gotten so conditioned to because it looks right, it smells right, it talks right, that it must be right. Wrong. Just because it looks right, it talks right, or it smells right, doesn't necessarily mean it's right. Doesn't necessarily mean it is right. It may be permissible, but it may not be the perfect. And anything that comes with permission, with the permissible, it's gonna have some fault in it. Now, when I say fault in it, it's not gonna be that trotted out path that God has for you. Okay? It's going to be some issues that's unnecessarily arise because it was permissive and it was in what you wanted. And especially women, let me just say this because I am a woman. Too often women, because of their desires, lower, especially women in that profess Jesus, God, the Father, Yeshua, as being a kingdom citizen. Those women, they really miss the mark because they get in their flesh and they're like, oh, time is running out and this and this. Let me tell you something. I don't care if you're 99 on a cane. If it's in his permissive will, it's going to be good for you. You miss out what you need, and you miss out what you need to learn in life because you take the permissive road instead of the perfect road. And a lot of times, and my time is almost up, and we're going to come back next week on Midday Monday and talk about this a little bit more, even more in depth. A lot of times what happens is when you're talking about are you willing to pay the cost for your success, people, what they do is they're not willing to wait. They're not willing to wait to develop their character. Because with success comes this. You want to, and I'm going to end with this. Sometimes the success moves slower because the character does not match where you're going. And you have to, your character has to be redefined and defined for the success in the perfect will. And if your character is not there, I don't care how successful you are, you're not going to be able to stay because your character is not there. So, because success is built on character. Success is built on character. Hey guys, this is Midday Monday, and I am Tara T. Stallings. I am your counselor. I am your life coach. I'm certified life coach. And this is my podcast. Let's talk, Tara. Let's talk. Let's talk about those things that nobody else is talking about. And I want to help you. So this has been part one. And make sure that you go back and you listen to my other podcasts. Thank you for joining me. Are you willing to pay the cost for your success?
You have been listening to Let's Talk with Tara. We hope you've enjoyed this show. Remember, if you have real issues, then Tara has real solutions. Thanks for stopping by. See you next week.
Okay, good. Thank you.